The Let Me Be Frank podcast is proudly sponsored by Glenwood. Glenwood are the UK's leading construction industry debt recovery agency.
Remember, no win, no fee with Glenwood Debt Recovery.
Find out more at glenwoodconstruction.co.uk. Welcome to the latest episode of Let Me Be Frank podcast with myself, Simon Houston, Frank McAvennie, and yes, you'll be wondering what's going on. What is going on with it? Well, no, we're not. We haven't suddenly become Aberdeen supporters in the last week or so. Johnston Burgh, right? So as you might know, Frank was the most famous Johnston Burgh striker ever.
Up to recently.
Up to fairly recently. We've got another Johnston Burgh striker with us, Kyle Lafferty. It's absolutely fantastic joining us.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks for coming. This is it's a big weekend. You've got the semi-final of the Scottish Junior Cup. First leg this Saturday, Kenny Park against Larks.
Yep.
So how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, obviously excited. I think we've got a good feeling around the club. It's a massive game. Obviously last year we were put out at the same stage. But yeah, everyone's buzzing. I think probably whoever wins out of the two legs will probably should go on to win the cup. I think we're probably the two best teams in it, so it's going to be an exciting game. So I think everyone's up for it.
Well,
it's great to see because they felt bad. The Johnson went away for a bit and they fell by the wayside, and they've got it back now. And the fans are good. The fans are great up there. I mean, I loved them when I played. Even then, there was a big crowds coming in to watch it, but they were great.
Yeah, like I'm shocked at like some of the crowds. I think last season, the semi-final was 3,500. I think it was.
Incredible.
And it was brilliant. Even now, you're touching 1,000 for every game, and well, weather permitting. Last week it was about 60 people, but no, listen, it's the club's heading in the right direction. Great people owns it. Great people's invested in it, so it's an up-and-coming club in Scottish football.
Fantastic. And there's a big Johnson connection with this whole podcast. You obviously played for the Borough back in 1824 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But when was it, 79-80?
79-80, yes. Just before I signed for St Mirren. I went from Johnson Burgh to St Mirren.
Do you remember any of your stats? Any Johnston Burgh historians out there can help with us?
I started off midfield and then I got pushed up front.
Did you score many goals?
Yeah. Scored a few. It was brilliant because my mate, who I'm still pals with, Ian McLeod, he was like a big man up front, and he's the same size as me now. So I don't know if I've grown or he's getting.
I think people
he
shrink.
Used to look after me.
Kyle's 6'5", but when Kyle was your age, Kyle will be 4'2".
Jump 4'2".
So it was good. I loved it. I loved it up front, and he looked after me. It was good fun. I love all my. I'm still pals with Mills. I
know Graham. I know Graham Mills very well. If he's watching,
he came down to me.
Millsy could see.
He helped me drive my car down to London when I went.
Well, you and Millsy went to Live Aid.
Went to Live Aid,
when you went down to sign for West Ham.
So I'd already signed, just went down to take in Live Aid, so it was good.
Yeah. For our younger viewers, Live Aid was a pop festival.
I didn't even know that.
Bob Geldof, you know the one, Bob Geldof, Feed the World and all that.
1985.
Feed the World and all that, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Queen made their comeback that way. It was great.
So there we go. And
I got knocked back for Stringfellas that night. Never let them forget that.
And I'm a Johnston boy as well.
Yes.
I grew up in Johnston. Actually, as I was informing you, I played for Johnston Burgh under-18s, although they weren't connected to the actual club itself. But so I was in Kenny Park a few times training. I remember seeing the Frank McAvennie poster up on the changing room wall.
Statue.
It was a statue. It was a poster for Shoot magazine. And with drawing pins, a blue tack or something.
Who was it with?
You must have been. I think you'd have been playing for West Ham at that point. I think.
Could have been anyone in the footy with me.
So before we forget, so a shout out to anybody who is in the Renfrewshire area on Saturday, Kenny Park, 5:30 kick-off, I think it is.
Yeah, coming along.
5:30.
First along. I'm going to try and get along, I'm doing a wedding during the day at Cameron House.
Ruining somebody else's life.
I thought it's almost the first anniversary of the podcast, and I haven't yet mentioned that I do weddings in the side as well. So if you're getting married, give me a shout.
Funerals, weddings, doesn't matter. Both ending.
So we'll be free at 5:30. Don't like Kenny Park, and it's Largs.
Yes.
In the first
Largs
leg.
are not bad, are they? They're good.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. We played them first game of the season, finishing a leach down at Largs. So I think we play them Saturday. think the week after we played them midweek, and then the second leg's actually been moved. It was 2 weeks after, but it's been moved the 4th of.
Yeah, so you got them 3 times in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So like the second leg's a month later. I don't know.
Get a result Saturday, you take them down there and get a draw.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it'll be.
So the quarter final was against Irvine Meadow, and nothing each after 90 minutes, straight to penalties.
Yep.
And you scored the decisive penalty.
Yep.
Never
Worked out well.
Never doubt. Was that planned?
Well, on my behalf, it was because the assistant manager, he's like, "Oh, will you go first?" And I went, "Yeah, okay." And then I was just standing there. I was like, "I'll go third." I told them, "I'll go third," and then a minute later, I was like, "I'll go fourth," and then it just worked out in my favour. It was
brilliant.
That always fascinates me when whether it's the World Cup final or the Scottish Junior Cup quarters. I mean, the pressure's pressure in a penalty kick, but I mean, do you find that's quite common that people maybe change the order, or someone changes the order once it's actually started, once the shootout started?
They pick a 5, don't they? They pick a 5.
Yeah, you pick a 5 first, but it used to be like
you had to get
your so-called best penalty takers go at the end. But recently, it's like you see Mbappe stepping up first for penalties and stuff like that now. Yeah. So I think now you put your best penalty takers first, because obviously you mightn't get to your 5th. So
yeah, true.
It worked out well for me, and
that's brilliant.
Do you take it or somebody else take
Whenever I'm on the pitch, I take the penalties.
Yeah.
I use fairly sparingly. I mean, you're 37 now, aren't you?
37.
Aye, and you had a bad injury.
37.
Aye, you had a bad injury after you joined Johnston Burgh as well.
Yeah, my second game against Drumchapel, I done my MCL and a few other wee bits and pieces around my knee, and probably my worst injury in my career.
Really?
I was out for 9 months.
Wow.
9-10 months. So came back and I was kind of thought it was the end for me, but great surgeon looked after me, and the club looked after me as well. They were brilliant, and I've got some random person's MCL in my body now.
Is that really?
What's it called? Is a cadaver or something? It's called. So I've got some random guy.
All right, of course. Aye, so. I tell you, yeah. Well, there you go.
That's good.
Someone to thank for that. Although, aye. So you settled into life okay then?
I actually really loved it. Like, obviously, it's different from playing in front of your 52,000,
of course,
and then coming down to the level of football. But honestly, like, some players should probably be playing at a higher level.
Yeah.
We've got a handful of players that I sit and watch them. I'm like, how's this guy not played at a higher level? But obviously, they've got their own job as well, and family to look after as well. I know Scottish football, the money's not that great down League 1, League 2, so they're playing junior. So as I said, I've really enjoyed it. Club's brilliant. Everyone around it, like from the dinner ladies, the 4 dinner ladies, brilliant. Right all the way up to the owner of the club, and it's probably, like, I know people say like it's a proper family club, but Johnston Burgh is proper family. They look after the fans. Yeah. Like after the game, like you can walk into the fans can walk into the bar and you'll see the players there and stuff like that there, and it's good. It's a well run club.
And and it's Scott Graham, I think, is the owner.
Scott Graham, he's the owner.
And they've got big plans, and did I hear somewhere that want to maybe turn that into AstroTurf or something? Is that?
So I think they're trying to get funding for the AstroTurf. They bought the grounds now, which was massive for the club. Trying to get Astro, but I think they want it to be more of like a community club now.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think it's brilliant.
For financially, I think it's quite important for small clubs because they can generate income that way.
100%. Like I was obviously at Killy for a long time, and they done the same thing. Like the community come and play in the stadium, which is brilliant. But I think they're trying to get as many signatures as possible, and I think they have a bit of problem with the airport. Right. Seemingly, if we put floodlights up, the airport's complaining now it's going to affect the pilots.
Okay, then just landing lights.
I'm sitting thinking if a pilot doesn't know the
difference between
a runway and a football pitch, he should consider his job. But so fingers crossed. Obviously, it goes in the right direction, and we all get. Well, the club gets what what they need.
Well, fingers crossed. We'll keep an eye on that. Absolutely,
So what
because
company is it? What
that's
company
now
is it?
officially
What
the.
company's got what is it? He's got the owner. 'Cause he's just about to sponsor a podcast. He doesn't know yet. But
So I can't think of his. He's got a company in. Is it Kilwinning? He's got a side business of socks.
And these are the kind of the ones that's grip socks for sports people.
I've been given the grip socks have probably been around for the last 10 years or so, and they're an up and coming thing. But out of all the socks I've been given, these ones are probably the best. You find grip socks like really, really tight, hard to get on. These ones go on like a normal pair of socks, but obviously you've got the grip that obviously protects your feet in your boot. So there'll probably be a link on the podcast. That,
absolutely,
we'll get it on. But they're brilliant. They're not expensive, and they're a great pair of socks.
In fact, miraculously, we've suddenly got a pair. Treads, they're called.
that's what he gave me. Thanks.
Right, so do you still play fives, Frank?
Of course I do. Yeah.
Well, you're going to
I can't.
play.
My knee. I've got a.
Man could play 11 still.
I know. I got. I get something. I got a crash. I was in a crash on my knee, and I got a. What you call it?
Pay it.
No, not yet. Good lawyers. No, I've not. But I went and got what is it? Scan last week, and
MRI. Yeah.
they gave me a couple of options and
Okay.
putting gel in my knee or something. They want to put gel in my knee.
Well, okay.
Apparently, I was talking to Colin Henry. He says his son gets it every year.
Well, okay.
Has to get in his
Help the joints or something.
joints
is it?
and the cartilages and all that. Sorts of cartilages gives them something to bounce off of. And so I'm thinking about that. Get it done. I'll get back playing.
Get a bit in full body and get back playing.
Exactly.
Run
Well,
about. I'm starting. I can run straight. Can't kick a ball or run beside. So I'll get it sorted.
So the
Get it
final,
sorted, I love it.
if Borough make the final, it will be Hampden. The final, it used to be Hampden Park. The
I
Scottish.
think it's Broadwood.
Right.
I'm nearly sure it's Broadwood.
It's part of
Is it
Wales,
Clyde?
Hampden.
Clyde's old ground, I think.
Used to be. Remember, it used to be at Hampden. They used to go to Hampden. They used to go Johnston, but junior cup final. I remember Ruffy was manager. Glenafton. He got to final.
Okay.
Hampden.
I actually think it was at Kilmarnock's ground one.
Was it?
Because I remember we played away game and we came back around 9:30 at night one time, and it was absolute heaving. At this stage, I didn't know too much about junior football. And one of the lads told me. So yeah.
Well, there we go. So you need to promise us if the Borough win the Scottish Cup that you and Scott and whatever can come into the studio with the trophy. That'd be
great.
No worries.
Aye.
Fingers crossed.
So you were talking about whether you're playing in front of 2,000 at Keene Park or 50,000. Football's football, isn't it? And pressure's pressure.
Game, innit?
Yeah. Before I was setting up for the penalty against Irvine Meadows, I was nervous because obviously it's a big thing. The Scottish Cup's massive for the club.
Of course it is.
We want to win it, so obviously stepping up. If I score, we're through to the semis, and if I miss, then it goes on to the next person. So I had a bit of nervous.
Where does that rate? I mean, seriously, obviously it's not the biggest thing that's happened in your career. You capped nearly 90 times in Northern Ireland. You're the second top goal scorer. But still a proud moment, eh?
Yeah, I think it just everything that comes with it. Like the club, it's massive for the club. The club signed me to go and score goals, win trophies for them, and if I miss, then
I know
it's all eyes on me, isn't it?
If you're missing somebody else scores, they get headlines.
Exactly.
You want the headlines.
It's just everything that comes with it. But thankfully, I put it away and we got through. So
I'm just thinking, you when you first arrived in Scotland from Burnley, that was what,
2008.
8. So that it was just after the UEFA Cup final, wasn't it?
Yep.
Aye. So if somebody said to you then that and all these years later you've still been in Scotland, you were playing junior football, would you believe them?
Not at all. Especially at 37. It was when the opportunity came alive. It was Graham Dorrans. Obviously, he signed, and I spoke to Dozzle, and he had great things to say about the club and the people that owned it. I went and met the ex-manager Jamie McKim and Scott himself, and they're both great people. And where the club wants to go, it excited me. I always say whenever I came to the end of my career, the last few years I wanted to be involved in promotion or relegation.
Sure.
Something to play for.
Yeah.
Never really wanted to go to a mid-table team that if you lose a game, it's
doesn't
on to the next. Always wanted to be involved in something exciting, and this is exciting. We came out of the league last year. Probably should have won the league, but we didn't. So, obviously, Clydebank won the league this year. I think they were probably the better team. They deserved it. But we've got the Scottish Cup to play for, and I think we want to finish the league strongly as possible. We can still get second, which will be a good season. If we win the Scottish and finish second, it'll be exciting. Well, it would have been an exciting year for us.
So going back to some of the highlights of your career, and I'm looking at the some of the honours. So 3 SBL titles, 1 Scottish Cup, 2 Scottish League Cups, a Scottish Championship with Kilmarnock, a Serie B in Italy as well. That's pretty impressive stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, again, going back to the start of your career, if somebody told you you'd win all that, you'd have been pretty pleased, wouldn't you?
Delighted. It's weird because obviously I've won all those medals, played with some of the best players in big teams, but probably there's times I look back and think, could I have done this better, and could I have got more out of myself, and I probably could have. I think everyone knows I have a bit of a live wire when I was younger, but
No.
You're in good company. Don't worry about it.
I think we're all at strikers or something.
Yeah, I know. Screw loose, don't we? We're like goalkeepers. So obviously it's a weird one, buzzing with my career, the teams I played for.
Any regrets? I mean, as far as like, teams you could have played for, or do you think you kind of got as high as you would like?
If I'm right in saying, but were you talking to Celtic or Celtic talking to you?
Spoke to Celtic.
Yeah. Was that a possibility?
By the way, I did know there was a green ball sitting here. So.
That can be any colour you want.
Obviously, Celtic tried to sign me 2 windows before Rangers obviously came in. So it was a bit of a bidding war at the time, and obviously me being from Northern Ireland, where I came from, there's only one team, obviously.
Yeah.
So obviously turned down Celtic, offered me more money, bigger sign on, offered Burnley more money, but I was 19 at the time, and I had to go and basically tell Burnley that I wouldn't be going to Celtic. It's not in my blood, and you'll probably curse me up and down here.
No, it's
not in my blood. So if I didn't accept the bid from Rangers, I wouldn't be playing for the club again. And obviously I had people in my head back then tell me what I needed to do. More experienced people, I thought at the time. So obviously to tell a manager, Mohan Coyle at the time, that I wouldn't be playing for his football club because they were knocking back Rangers and basically stopped me from living my dream. It was difficult, but
because
but
it worked.
It worked, yeah. And I had an amazing 4 years at Rangers, and obviously the way I left the club at the end up was, again, listening to people that I thought was more experienced and had my career. I think they were looking at I thought they were looking after me more, but it turned out they were just after a pay packet.
Yeah.
So.
And that, but you mean because that was 2012 and everything that came with it?
Yeah.
And you left, but I mean, a few players did the same though, did they not?
Yeah, a few players, like, I think there was 8 in total, but, like, I was living my dream, playing for my country and playing for my team I supported as a boy, so...
So what you mean is you would rather have stayed?
100%.
Right,
like, I think if I was being told if I stayed to play, I think it was 3rd tier of Scottish football, it was, probably my international career would be gone. So I listened to people rather than
Things
made a decision myself.
I think it would have been somebody's. The agents went after the money. He's wanting more money, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But listen, I did what I done, and I was given a second chance to
go
play
back
for the club again, and not many people.
No.
Do you get to Ibrox quite a lot? Do you go and do any ambassador stuff or anything like that?
I go to most of the European games, and obviously all the old firms. Obviously my training is Monday and Wednesday night, and obviously games Saturday, so it's a bit hard to get to the games of the weekend. But I bring the kids. My 2 daughters, they love going. I think they enjoy seeing Broxy Bear more than the actual football.
Yeah.
So
There's Broxy.
the first game I brought was the what game was it? we won 5-1 against Fraserburgh, I think it was.
All right, aye.
Or 5-0 it was. So it was a good game to bring, but I had to tell them don't expect
I don't expect that.
this game every week. But
They've done brilliant in Europe. That's what they've been kicking on.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts, Barry?
I think obviously.
No, I was just going to say, bear in mind when this goes out, it'll be tomorrow, so we don't know what's happened tonight. But that's all right. We can. I mean, that's such as broadcasting.
No, it's just with Barry. It's just what you think Barry.
I think since obviously Barry's come in, I think it's been night and day. I think the lads have took to him. I think he's added something that was missing. You're sitting with, I think it's the last 5-6 games we've conceded 2 goals, but you're sitting there thinking they'll come back and they'll end up getting a result, which we have. And obviously last Thursday, I was at the game and it was brilliant. How they dug in there against a good Bilbao team.
Yeah.
Probably thought it would have been more exciting, but listen, they're Bilbao and I think they're 4th in the Spanish league, so it's a team that's going to cause us problems out there.
Sure.
But I think Fergie's come in, turned the team around. Will he be there at the end of the season? Who knows? I think obviously with us 49ers talk, will they want a more experienced manager? Who knows? But I think Fergie deserves a place
I think he's done all right.
Not just an ambassador side. I think he deserves a role within the club and his coaching side, because I think we wouldn't be, obviously.
Seems to be enjoying it.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
He did. He's taken to it. So, he's, and he's good, because when he had that wee spat last weekend with Shimmy and all that, he says, I like that. He says, it's
Shinny.
Passion, Shinny.
Shimmy's what you do on the pitch.
Shinny. He says, I like that. He says, he's got passion. He says, and he cut because the press wanted more of him.
Like
they wanted headlines, and he cut it short. He says, it's just
like he's made some massive calls.
I thought it was good. The one he took a defender off, 20 minutes gone, and he took him off, and I thought, well, that sends a message to everyone in the team.
Yeah, I think he can make those decisions now because he's only interim. I think it might be slightly different if he's there full time. But listen, he's making decisions.
Change Barry if he was full time.
I think
he would still make decisions like that. You know,
I think he's making the decisions, and they're coming off. Like last Thursday night, everyone looked at the team sheet, and obviously Liam Kelly's brilliant keeper, but you're thinking Jack Butland, you need him there. But
big call as well.
Listen, Liam done brilliant.
Yeah,
got us through, gave us a chance to go on tonight to get through the semis.
Well, good luck with that, because it's. I mean, Celtic's not there, but they're.
So about the coefficient, Frank?
Coefficient, of course. Yeah,
it's great.
No, but it's good for Scotland.
It is.
Good. They've done well.
Celtic done well in Champions League. Like
I thought they played. That's the best they played.
Yeah.
So it's good for the team to get there.
Regular viewers and listeners will know that we've been running a competition for a fantastic opportunity to play a game of golf against myself and Mr. McAvennie there over the Queen's Course in Gleneagles. And we can now tell you that we have done the draw and we have a winner, and the winner is Brian Brady. So Brian, congratulations to you.
Done, Brian.
You and your pal will be playing myself and Frank. I don't know anything about what handicaps you are, but I can tell you that you'll be giving Frank a shot at hole, because that's what always happens when you play golf against Frank. So
I'm taking it serious. I'm going up tomorrow, playing the Queens, just to get layout so we can beat you.
You got Brian and your pal, you get your work cut out. Aye, so there we go. So we'll be in touch, and we'll make plans to get a date sorted, and you will absolutely love it. And this, of course,
look forward to it.
Is courtesy of our main sponsors, Glenwood, who have really looked after us. But everyone's talking golf at the moment. Did you stay up late on Sunday? I
did. I stayed up very late and watched it all. Watched the everything going on after it. It was great.
I was so good.
I was so pleased for him.
I just felt a wee bit sorry for Justin Rose. In any other competition, I'd have wanted him to win it, because he's a lovely bloke. Lovely bloke. But
I know. But I think now the pressure's off Rory. It was one of them. I think he knows he'd done a lot of talking and all that about Liv and all that. He didn't have to get involved in it. He's probably wishing that he didn't.
Yeah.
But that was just brilliant for him. To go there and miss that putt in the last, and then have to go and do it again. It's just incredible. You don't realise how much pressure that is
Yeah.
You know what it's like when you've got a 2-foot putt against me.
I don't tend to leave my putts 2 foot short, Frank.
Yeah,
or don't tend
I know,
to.
right.
Well, listen, Brian will find out when we play against
you
them.
never get that close to it, do you? Pick it up before.
But just a reminder, so again, it's thanks to our friends at Glenwood, and also if you pop over onto their LinkedIn page, you'll find more details about the golf competition. Hopefully, we'll have more golf competitions and other competitions for you in the coming weeks. Glenwood are, of course, specialists in business-to-business debt recovery, focusing on the construction industry. So if someone owes you money and aren't paying up, they are the people who will get that sorted for you. And I've said before, if you want to get paid faster, get in touch with them at glenwoodconstruction.co.uk.
Do the work, get paid. They'll get it for you, no problems. And get in touch with them. And don't forget to tell them Frank sent you.
What about, have you got any aspirations after you finish playing about becoming a manager or coach? You looked into doing your badges or anything like that?
So I've done my B. I'm doing my A in the summer. I've got my own soccer camp academy every Tuesday to Friday at the Play Sport in East Kilbride. It's KL Soccer Academy.
Good.
I've got about 18, 19 kids, maybe a wee bit more. I do 1-to-1s and 2-to-1s. 1-to-1s and small groups. And on a Friday I do a large group for 5 to 7 year olds.
Are you still looking for kids to come along? Are you looking for more numbers and whatever?
I am. There's always slots there to be taken. More so 1-to-1s. I think I prefer 1-to-1s because I can put my experience across to them, and obviously the way I wanted my academy to be was I want the kid to come in, get them with a ball and just starting them from scratch. I know being in other academies, growing up, you pick up bad
habits.
So obviously I think with my experience, I put across the basics, and the feedback I've had from parents over the last couple of months has been brilliant, and the kids have went on and they've signed for Premiership teams, Championship teams, so it's good. And
kids have got to enjoy themselves.
Yeah,
you can't. I know a lot of people put them into structures now. I'm going, you can't do that. With kids, it's so robotic now. Some of it.
I've been some parents have spoke to me about putting them in, you're talking 5-6 year olds, putting them into 1-to-1, and for me it's perfect because it's more money in my pocket. But I just say to them, let them play with a small group. Less money, it's cheaper for you, but they'll learn the game with a group of people. I think probably towards 8-9 is whenever I'd like to take the 1-to-1s in, the players in, so I can put in my experience and teach them more football side of things.
Good habits and whatever.
I think obviously the 5 to 7 year olds, I think it's just all about having fun. So I've got 13 people on a Friday, and no joke, most of them's doing handstands. There's boys and girls, most of them's doing handstands in a wee group talking, but they're having fun. It's not expensive, and they enjoy themselves. So obviously it's something that I do want to do, something I've always wanted to do, have an academy in my name, and I've got one. So hopefully it'll kick on.
The opening up in Famagusta would be nice.
Exactly. To be fair, the weather wouldn't be too bad.
That was
I can come down and help you if you want.
I was going to set you a wee challenge actually, right? Because you'll probably, I'm often fascinated to see whether players who have played with so many clubs remember the order that they played them in, right? So I'm going to see if you can tell me from starting off at, Burnley was your first club, right? So if you can...
Burnley, went on loan to Darlington, called back to Burnley, went to Rangers, went to Sion, went to Palermo, signed for Norwich, went on loan to Rizespor, came back to Norwich, went to Birmingham on loan, back to Norwich, went to Hearts. This is where it gets tough. There's a lot of teams in this small period.
You can't forget the club you play for after Hearts.
Hearts, Rangers. Went to Norway.
Yep.
Came back to Sunderland.
Yep.
Kilmarnock.
No, you've missed 2 out.
Just talking about it.
You've missed 2. You missed 2 European teams. Did you play briefly in Italy again?
Sorry, Regina.
That's it.
Kilmarnock?
No. We were talking about it just a minute ago. He was
I
saying
know, I
quite...
thought it was Kilmarnock Famagusta,
Well,
no?
according to Wikipedia,
That could be...
That could be
it was... Well, I've got Famagusta, then Kilmarnock,
Yeah.
and then there was another team after Kilmarnock before the Borough.
Why would you want to leave Famagusta and go to Kilmarnock?
Why wouldn't you? What are you saying?
Yeah, none.
There's another team in between Kilmarnock and Johnston Burgh, although I'm not sure how many games you played for them, though. Certainly, you're listed. It's listed as one of your former clubs from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's
Linfield.
Yeah, Linfield. But no. It's wrong because I went Kilmarnock, Cyprus, I think it was.
Right.
Back to Kilmarnock, Linfield, Johnston Burgh.
Oh, well, there we go.
Because the reason I was in Italy whenever my sister passed away, so I never really got to see her at the last weeks, whatever. But and then my dad took ill, and that's the reason I kind of went back to Linfield,
Right.
and back to Belfast, because I didn't want to, obviously.
Yeah,
I thought my dad was going to pass away, which
Yeah.
thankfully he didn't. So I was always wanting to be close to home.
Right.
Turned out he's
okay.
bouncing
brilliant.
off walls
Fantastic.
again. So
I love you.
But I mean, that's a lot of travelling.
a lot of travelling. Few
I mean,
passports.
I was going to say your passport must be well and truly stamped, but
every 5 years, change it.
I mean that's like well, obviously I want to loads, but did you enjoy the going and playing in the likes of Italy and Cyprus and maybe like obviously Glasgow's a goldfish bowl and just going out and about. I mean, Kyle Lafferty going out and about in Glasgow would be the hassle that comes with that. But going to a place like Cyprus or where was it? Palermo. That's the city itself, and that's not just
Sicily. Yeah.
Aye, that must have been quite a kind of relief. Even.
How long were you there for?
So I went to Sion, played with Gattuso at Sion, and then he retired, took over Sion, then went to Palermo and signed me for Palermo.
Right.
And so I was there for a year. Unfortunately, I think he got sacked after 2 months. And I stayed there for a year. Then went to Norwich, but I love playing abroad. I think my style of play, obviously, you go abroad, it's more football, technical, and I like getting involved and getting people's faces, and I think that's why I've probably done so well abroad. Don't think people liked playing against me, and I've loved playing abroad, and I've always said the young players or players that consider going abroad, just go because and you probably over the last 5 years, 6 years, you've seen a lot more players going abroad, even big hitters as well, like Premiership players went abroad, and they've
them now,
done well. So
and it's only going to be good for Scotland.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
We'll look at McTominay and
well,
Billy Gilmer and
Billy.
Yeah. I would probably like to see Billy playing a lot more, because he's
good player,
excellent player. He's so good, and he's probably one of Scotland's main players. And when he's on it, there's not many players like him.
But Lewis is probably the best player in the family.
You try to get that wee clip ignited again.
Lewis is surprised he went, but Bologna's an amazing city. Probably one of the best stadiums I've played at. I played actually Coppa Italia, Regina, Bologna, and the stadium's amazing. And
so Sicily's a good. I've not been in Sicily. A good place.
One of the places, probably the best place I've played.
Got my pals, Lee Winston, that's there.
So good.
Jim Cairn, the Simple Minds, they live there. They all live there. Sicily, so I don't know why.
I think it's when I lived there, it was obviously down south. Not many spoke English. Slightly poorer.
Did you learn?
I learned a wee bit. I wish I did.
To get by.
Yeah, passing the ball. But wish I'd learned a lot more. It's a great language, but I loved Italy.
So you were saying you've got your sort of coaching badges, you've got your academy now and whatever. So 37. So do you see yourself still playing until maybe 40? Yeah, you can manage that.
I'd like to, but I'm now, my wise head's looking at coaching now. I'd still love to be involved with Johnston Burgh. I think it's a great club, whether it's part of the
coaching staff,
first team of coaching staff, or the academy there. I know they want to do great things with the academy side of things down there. So I definitely still want to be involved in the club, whether that's being a player, but if needed, I'm there. But coaching side of things, I definitely want to be involved in the club.
And away from football, so you've got a few kids now. You become a dad again fairly recently.
I did, yes. So I've 3 girls in the house.
You get looked after my wife. You get looked after when you're older.
I hope so.
So life's good. Life's good for you.
Life's good. A wee one just born there a month ago on Sunday.
Congratulations.
Lavina Sonia, after my sister. So
that's wonderful.
Right.
She's sleeping better the last 2 weeks than honestly, doing the school run the first week or two. The teacher was like saying to obviously my sister-in-laws, they were like, Vanessa looks so good just having a baby, but they turned around saying, Kyle looks tired though. I'm like, wait a minute. But honestly, that's what the teacher was saying, and obviously friends of the family, they're like, Vanessa looks brilliant, but Kyle looks shy. Like,
are you quite hands-on though? Do you do the kind of middle of the night feeds and all that stuff?
I do. Like, I think
I did that as well.
I think
it's good.
A part of it. Like you obviously have to help the missus sometimes.
Absolutely. That's great.
But yeah, like the kids are brilliant, and they're a joy to have.
Fantastic.
Good.
So, are they going to be there? The family be there on Saturday for the semi-final?
Yep.
Yeah.
We got the tickets. You can obviously pay on the gate, but we've got there's a wee stand there now. Need the tickets, so we got the tickets there yesterday. So they'll be there. A few of my mates will be there. And my oldest one, she's mad into her football, and she's not bad to be fair.
We'll be there.
Well, I don't see why not. We should go along.
Go along. As long as
Definitely get
Old
to keep that
stomping
shirt and
ground.
wear it.
I'll wear this, yeah.
Well, you need to tell us
Thanks,
a story. So before we started recording, I was asking you about all the strips that you've collected over the years, and you said you get Johan Cruyff's top.
I did, yes. I got Johan's playing against him, but they said to me, have you still got it? I said, no, when you're running out of the house and somebody's chucking things at you.
It's the last thing in your mind.
Yeah, last thing in your mind. So quick as that jersey.
Right, hang on a minute. Right, on all seriousness, does you got Johan Cruyff's Fener
Yes,
top?
I did, yes.
It must still be somewhere.
No, it's...
You know, just like make a wee phone
I
call
lost
and
a lot of
apologise.
stuff. I lost a lot of stuff in transit with storage. A lot of my strips went in storage.
Yeah, I got robbed.
And you couldn't,
Some of my
they robbed
shirts
us
got
and I
robbed,
couldn't, and you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it. It's a jersey.
I.
Do you know that's what they put it down to?
You've got it in here, don't you?
I know it's. I've got.
I suppose as well, because I suppose at airports too, they'll know there's bags going through, and there'll be a famous top in that bag, you know. So.
Like, I've had my bags open a few times, like you could tell, and rattle through. Obviously, coming back from international, because obviously we had,
of course,
the kit bag with KL Northern Ireland badge on it. So coming through the airport and stuff like that there, or traveling with Rangers, obviously. Listen, if you see bags coming through, you're gonna have a wee nosy.
They don't let me pass through airports now, anyway. So.
You must have swapped a few famous jerseys over the years as well.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough. Yeah,
have you kept hold of yours, unlike him?
I went through early part of my career, like probably for the first 10 years, I didn't swap any. Like I had hundreds of my Northern Ireland tops. You used to get 2 a game, and people would always say, "Oh, do you get such and such tops?" And like I've played against Ramos, didn't get his top, and I always said, "My Northern Ireland top's more important to me than Ramos because I'm blessed to play for my country."
Yeah.
So then when I got older, you're like, "Why haven't I swapped with these
I could
players?"
afford that.
So obviously when I've played with obviously some amazing players like Dybala, I've got his top, World Cup winner. So Steve Davis, probably the best player I've played with. Got his top.
Were you there at Rangers with him as well?
Yeah, I've been there twice with him.
Good player.
Brilliant.
The striker is the kind of player I'd love to have been.
Have
him behind us.
As I said, I've played with World Cup winners and all, but David was not just saying it because he's my mate, but he's hands down the best player I've played with. But no, he's brilliant. He's a dream for a striker to play with.
We're just obviously mindful of our time, but I did want to talk to you briefly about that period as well, because I think, so when you were at Rangers for the first period, it was Walter Smith was the manager mainly, and then did Alan McCoist come in prior?
Yeah, Coisty, obviously after the Kilmarnock game, Coisty came in that season after, and I think everyone was just delighted that Ali McCoy was the manager of Rangers. Just, I think he deserved it. Unfortunately, the way the club went, and it was probably he was there at the wrong time. So it was like you're happy for him, but then you're like, wish it was another period that he was given the reins.
He never got a chance to be a manager, really.
Nah,
he never
didn't.
got a chance. He was like a show pony getting brought out all the time. And
he's not short of work now, right enough.
He's got too many jobs now, man.
I think were we, if I'm right, we were like 15 points clear that season, and then things started to happen. But obviously, things off the park started to happen. But I think it was, for me, we lost the league whenever Stephen Naismith got injured. He done his, I think it was ACL up in Badodry. I remember he's tried to come on again and he's just collapsed, and I think we went on that run, we couldn't win, we dropped so many points, and I think things that off the pitch there was
a lot of noise around at that point as well, and what was happening.
So for me, I think we lost that league because we lost probably one of our most important players that time, and it was Nazy. So,
but what about when you know, the 3 titles in a row under Walter Smith? How would you describe him as a manager compared to Walter? I mean, you've obviously had, I don't know, it must have been 15 different managers here.
No, I've probably had about 15 managers at Sion. I think I had six managers at Sion.
Really?
I was there a year.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Honestly, it was incredible. And I had one come back later on in the season. Like, listen, I've always said, like, I've done a few Q&As at Rangers events, and I've said the same thing. It takes a special person to be respected by both sides of the firm.
Yes.
And that's what Walter was. He was respected by everyone.
I know.
Not just Scotland, everywhere.
Yeah.
He done a turn in England as well, and he was brilliant. He was a second father to me. Gave me my dream to play for my club. Probably caused him a few headaches in his time, but listen, he was amazing towards me, and he was just a special person, and he'll always be a special person.
I thought Walt was great.
Yeah.
I did. Honestly, I thought he was brilliant. He was a
his
good laugh as well.
His whole family, like Ethel and everyone,
Good laugh
was
as well. He was funny.
I was thinking, visualise him and Ali McCoy at Tommy Burns' funeral as well, and carrying the coffin. And you think,
like Tommy Burns as well. He was like, I didn't know too much about Tommy, but obviously Darren O'Dea, my brother-in-law, he respects Tommy like
so much,
massively. I think his number might be linked. Darren was always 48. I think that might be a connection to Tommy. Maybe Tommy gave it. I think there is a connection. I don't know too much about it, but Darren speaks so highly of Tommy, and Tommy was just
when he was with the boys. It was the story going about. He was with the boys, and Walter and Coyce were going to Rangers, and Tommy was with him in the Scotland set-up and all that, wasn't it? And he went into Celtic boys, and he was working at Celtic at the time. He went in and he says, "I'm leaving, I'm going to Ibrox." And what? And he's packing all his boots and that. But I go, "You can't do that, you can't do that." He's walked out, bro, he just wind everyone up. He was a big wind-up merchant.
Was he?
Aye, brilliant.
I think you need that in the game.
Oh, of course you do. I think he's out of the game now. I think there's, I'm not sure, but I think a lot of his players just don't. They're in the rugby world, and
so serious.
They don't connect with the supporters that we did. I mean, I think it's a shame because the supporters are the lifeblood, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
well, time's caught up with us, but before we finish off, just a reminder to everybody, please to hit subscribe. It's free to do it. Free. Follow us on the social media channels, TikTok, Instagram, all the usual things. And again, like I keep saying it, but I'm really impressed with some of the momentum that's building.
Yes, brilliant.
The more subscriptions we get, just the higher the profile the podcast gets, and then we get more sponsors and all that kind of thing. So,
Scott,
and we've got a few. we've got a couple of wee features we will be talking about fairly soon as well. Some extra bonus content. And, like Frank's for the memories about one of them. And we can look back and all your great stories throughout the year. So we might be looking for a sponsor for that.
Football.
So any businesses out there. But obviously our main sponsor is Glenwood, and we love them to bits.
Yes.
Because they really, really help. So so do all that. Hit subscribe, that'd be great. Kyle, this is really good. Thanks.
Can't tell you.
I really enjoyed it.
Wish you all
Don't forget to go Saturday. Game.
Aye.
Go to Keene Park.
I've got a good feeling about it. And Largs, I mean, what's that? It's just a bit of ice cream, really, isn't it, Largs?
But that's one thing there, right?
Famous for ice cream, aye.
I think that's what they get for a win bonus. They get in Nardini's.
Nardini's, yeah, they get fish supper.
They use cones for training, but it's different. We'll just leave it at that. Right, so Kyle, thanks again. Brilliant.
Thank
Frank,
you,
we'll
Kyle,
be
thanks,
back,
anytime.
Yes.
back next week
Back
with
next
another
week with
guest,
another
and
guest.
we'll see you all again soon for another episode of Let Me Be Frank.
Cheers.